Welcome, everybody. College basketball action. I'm joined once again with Ross Benjamin. And Ross, we're doing our underdog value ticket. There's two games on a huge slate and two very interesting games, kind of smaller schools, but I know what you feel. Like me, small schools can produce large dividends, especially when they're getting a lot of points, as such is the case with Georgia Southern getting 10 points on the road. Now, Georgia Southern 7-6 against the spread on the road, Ross, actually playing really good ball right now. They've won 3 out of 4 versus a Louisiana Lafayette team that's kind of scrambling right now. Lost 5 out of 6 straight up. So 10 points, that's a hell of a lot of points. If you will, break this down for us and let us know why you think Georgia Southern's going to cash that ticket tonight.
Well, you touched upon some very good points, Mike, for the listeners, and here we go. UL Lafayette 1-5 in their last 6, as Mike just alluded to, offensively struggling during their past 5 games, shooting just 39% from the field and only 28% from beyond the 3-point line. That doesn't bode well for a favorite of this magnitude. They started 11-0 on their home floor, and since then have gone 0-2 straight up in ATS in their last 2 at home. And then, like you touched upon as well, with Georgia Southern playing very good basketball right now. Georgia Southern dropped their first meeting against UL Lafayette at home 75-64. But since that time, they've gone 10-6 straight up and 13-3 against the spread, and that includes their last 8 games going 7-1 against the spread. So this has been a very profitable team, and they've done very well as an underdog during this stretch. Their last 5 games, they're making 39% of their 3-point shots, and they're also holding opponents to just 40% shooting, and that's a winning equation when you're getting a double-digit dog or close to a double-digit dog like we're getting in this situation. I'm seeing +10 at Pinnacle for Georgia Southern in this spot. I'm going to take the points here on the Georgia Southern Eagles over the UL Lafayette Raging Cajuns.
Yeah, and Ross, you touched on it too. They have been really locking down on defense as well as being effective offensively on the perimeter. So that could be a recipe for disaster when you're throwing 10 points on top, especially against a team that's just kind of floundering at the moment. So I like that play. You heard it, viewers. Georgia Southern +10. Ross, the second game, you got the Fresno State Bulldogs playing Utah State. They're getting 3 points at Utah State, 6-6 on the road against the spread. What is it about this Fresno State team that you like with the 3 points? Because obviously not a lot of wiggle room, as you would say, and an outright victory is certainly, in the midst and possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I always say, we'll take the points as an additional bonus, Mike. Utah State, they are coming off back-to-back wins over Air Force and San Jose State. But let's put those in perspective. Those two teams have gone a combined 8-26 in Mountain West Conference action this season. And those two teams are currently the bottom 2 in the standings in the Mountain West. So, yeah, they won the last 2 games, but let's also keep in mind prior to those 2 wins, they went through a 2-7 stretch in their preceding 9 games. So this isn't the Utah State team that we've been used to seeing over the last decade. 7-10 in conference play, just 15-13 straight up. And as Mike touched upon, Fresno State playing very good basketball as of the moment. 5-0 in their last 5, covering 4 of those 5, 7-1 in their last 8, covering 6 of those 8. And Mike, this is a veteran team that returned all 5 starters from a season ago, and it's certainly paying huge dividends right now. They're currently second in the Mountain West Conference standings, only behind San Diego State. Just too much value for me to pass on here, and not to be redundant. But I do like Fresno State to win this game outright. But folks, never pass up the points. +3, Fresno State over Utah State on Saturday evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Always taking those points as a bonus and as an insurance policy. But one thing you touched on, Ross, and I just have to absolutely agree, that veteran squad that came back, as you get deep into the season right now, that's really when the dividends pay off, because these guys know what's going on at this point. And Utah State kind of floundering. And let's not forget, Fresno State went in there and they beat these guys before on their home court by 7. So they know how to play this team. So you couple that with the momentum. They're 21-9 overall. They see the big picture. They're excited for the tournament to get started, and I like it. I think an outright victory is probably going to happen in this game. But as they say, Ross, at the end of the day, that's why they play the game. Okay, viewers, you heard it today. Georgia Southern +10, Fresno State +3. All right, 2 teams that are going to go on the road and cash that ticket in college basketball hoops. Hey, Ross, thanks so much for being with us. You know I totally enjoy it when you're here. I really enjoy your breakdowns, and I wish you the best tonight. Beat the book and beat them hard, my friend.